Hello everybody, John from Movie Burners here, bringing you another movie review, and this time I'm going to be discussing Slow West. Now this is probably a film that most people haven't encountered or even heard of. It's from 2015 and it's directed by a man called John McClane, who I'm not going to lie, I never heard of prior to this, and his zany, intriguing feature film debut Slow West is a rapidly quick-paced, short little film that belies its titular name, excellently casted featuring a predominantly European cast and perfectly crafted by the ex-musician cum filmmaker. It's a surprisingly good western on the surface that's about a lovesick boy, but it also attempts to convey the real struggle that Native Americans faced at the hands of their colonial settlers. The film opens with the attention very much on the aforementioned lovesick chap, who is 16-year-old Jay Cavendish, played by Kodi Smit-McPhee, and he's really journeying on his lonesome, heading towards a Native American settlement that looks to be under attack by Union soldiers. And even without uttering a word in the first 5 minutes, you get an immediate sense that he's well and truly out of his depth in the alien New World landscape of North America. Well, actually it's New Zealand it was filmed in, but I digress. Skinny, with more than a hint of naivety, he's got a certain ballsiness about him, and he continues making his way forward despite thick smoke really impairing his vision. When he meets a group of soldiers using a fleeing man as target practice, things turn rather pear-shaped, with the leader paying no heed of the youngsters' protestations at being British and meaning no harm. Step forward Silas Selick, played by Michael Fassbender, an experienced outlaw with a hidden agenda to save the day. He kills a soldier, dead without a second thought, and immediately advises the bewildered and rather flustered looking Jay that he'll be in need of a guide in these parts, a role that he's only too happy to volunteer for at a price. And the basic premise of the story thereafter is essentially the blooming bromance between the pair of them and their journey together in search for Rose, played by Caren Pistorius, who's the previous girl that I mentioned he's infatuated with. There's ups and downs, dark humour aplenty, no holds barred violence, and an ill-judged attempt at escape from Jay, which leaves him stranded in the middle of an expansive desert with only an uncooked egg to his name. And there really is several hilarious scenes between both Jay and Silas, the best of which involves the drinking of absinthe after the arrival of one of Silas's old acquaintances, Payne, played by Ben Mendelsohn, who is a rather dodgy looking figure and the leader of an outlaw group closely trailing your protagonist for much of the film. I really like the way McClane fleshed out the backstory of Jay via a series of flashbacks in the Scottish Highlands the character calls home. It allowed the viewer to be given an insight into his motivations while slowly introducing us to him, Rose, and her dad, John, played by the brilliant Rory McCann. And also the reasons behind their decision to leave and head out to North America. It also allowed for a nice change in tone from the present day action, which was absolutely relentless in its ferocity and pacing. It's quite a short film, at an hour and 20 odd minutes long, and they really utilised each and every second of those quite effectively. The growing bond and relationship between Silas and Jay was very nicely handled too. Both were able to help each other out, with the latter showing Silas that there was hope and reasons left for optimism even in the Wild West. Meanwhile, Silas did his best to imbue the younger gentleman he was growing increasingly fond of with a dose of reality. There's some really good performances in this film, most notably from Smit-McPhee. The character of Jay was awkward and slightly eccentric, and Kodi was perfectly cast for it, filling that role with a confidence belying his relatively young age of 19 at the time. Michael Fassbender was also outstanding as the outlaw, a cynical man with a plan who starts out as a cold fish, and he eventually mellows and warms as the film progresses, developing an unlikely friendship with his younger companion. Mendelssohn's part as Payne isn't quite as big in the film, but he lights up the handful of scenes he features in, and that majestic fur coat of his almost deserves a mention of its own. Shout outs to Pistorius as Rose, she does steal the finale with an emotionally powerful performance, and also the main man that is Rory McCann as John. He doesn't have an enormous role, but such is my love for the big chap and his character in Game of Thrones that it really would be sacrilege for me not to give him a mention, and he does do a decent enough job in a short little cameo role. The film doesn't hold back in the violence stakes, as I said, with plenty of murders occurring, never shucking away from showing blood. Having said that, it is a rated 15 film and it's not terribly violent by any means. Still, there is some striking moments in there. One scene particular involving a desperate mother and father in a store with their young children waiting outside was particularly profound for me. The ending had a unique way of sequentially panning to every single person killed in the film, which to be honest I thought was rather cool, and it's something I've never seen done on screen before, which does bring me nicely onto the cinematography. It was stunningly shot by Robbie Ryan. There was several beautiful moments, such as that scene I mentioned in the wide, expansive desert, and even the sweeping vistas of Rosie's prairie house at the end, which were quite frankly a delight on the eyes. I really enjoyed this film. I went in with zero knowledge of its existence and was pleasantly surprised at the quality of it. The ensemble performances were for the most part pretty excellent, and the story was rather simplistic at its heart, but it was still very well implemented, and there was the obvious underlying themes explored in regards to Native American mistreatment. I can't really think of any glaring negatives in there, and I would have absolutely no problems whatsoever in recommending this one to people who like westerns or just a well made and crafted film. I'll be giving this film a 3.5 out of 5. Remember guys, if you're enjoying the content we're putting out, then be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and iTunes, and give us a little follow on Facebook at Movie Burner Entertainment and on Twitter at Movie Burners. You can also catch up with all the latest reviews we're putting out at the Movie Burner blog on movieburnerentertainment.org. Until the next time, goodbye.